Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we're here at the Dutch Grand Prix. Yes, of course, round 15 of the real life F1 2022 season this weekend, and of course home to this week's Grand Prix challenge. Of course, last weekend in Belgium, we of course drove as Daniel Ricciardo in his McLaren from the rear of the field. If you missed out on that video, I would highly recommend going back and checking out. But of course, really, Dutch Grand Prix, Orange Army, OP Red Bull car. Is there anyone else we can be trying this challenge with this weekend other than Max Verstappen? Of course not. But I have added an extra twist to this week's challenge. Yes, we are going to be running with the cockpit cam. I think the second time I've done it on F1 22. I think I did one pre-season video racing in cockpit cam as well there. But Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole ahead of Charles Leclerc, George Russell and Carlos Sainz this weekend. Our teammate Sergio Perez only able to qualify P5 there alongside Fernando Alonso. Both McLarens make up the fourth row ahead of Ocon and Valtteri Bottas. Pierre Gasly, Zhou Guanyu on row 6 ahead of Tsunoda and Kevin Magnussen. Mick Schumacher, Alex Albon then on row 7, and then towards the rear of the field, Sebastian Vettel, Lance Stroll, Nicholas Latifi, and of course ourselves, Max Verstappen. But yeah, let's head down trackside then for the Dutch Grand Prix, but first of all, a quick word from our sponsor. This channel is proudly sponsored by Bybit, the official crypto partner of Red Bull's Formula 1 team. I've been using their platform for my personal crypto savings over the last few months, and when they got in touch to support the channel, I was super excited. Currently, they're offering you guys a special new promo for the first 100 of you to deposit $10 or more onto the platform. You'll get another $10 free. Also, 5 lucky winners will get their initial deposit doubled up to $1,000. That means if you deposited $1,000 onto the platform using my codes below, you could be within a chance to get another $1,000 completely free. We've seen the landscape around crypto drastically change over the last couple of years, and I genuinely believe it holds an important place in our future. However, please be careful as always when trading, as you are liable to lose money. But if you're interested and you're 18 or older, click the link down below to get started and see why Red Bull and myself, as well as thousands of others, trust Bybit as their crypto. Right, well, here we are then, trackside at the Dutch Grand Prix here once more from Zandvoort. And yes, like I mentioned in the intro, today we're going to be changing it up and doing this in cockpit cam. So very excited to be jumping into this one. Of course, it's going to be an interesting test to see how well we get on. It's been a very long time since I've driven cockpit cam on a Formula 1 game there. But it is quite immersive, it is quite different, and I do often get comments from some of you going, Matt, why don't you do all your videos in cockpit cam? So we're going to try it today, and, you know, maybe if you guys like it, we'll incorporate it in some other videos down the line as well. But yeah, starting from the back, though, let me know down in the comments below where you think we'll finish this one. But yeah, I genuinely do believe Max Verstappen at the moment, with how quick this Red Bull was at Spa, he could become the first ever driver in Formula 1 to do a last to first in a race before the end of the season. You know, maybe the title's wrapped up. Mexico, often a Red Bull track anyway, and they just kind of think, let's go for it there. But yeah, let's see what we can do though here at Zandvoort. Much more difficult to overtake at, and of course in cockpit cam is going to make things a little bit more interesting. Luckily, of course, we got no porpoising on the run down towards the first corner, so I won't be just shaking my head. Right, as we head through the final couple of corners then, obviously the banking, I must admit, is very cool in cockpit cam as well here. But Nicholas Latifi just in front of me, Lewis Hamilton on the pole there. It's Mercedes, Ferrari, and surely Perez seemingly struggling, and Verstappen way down the order. This could be a chance for one of those two teams to try and snoop away a race victory today. But let's see who it is going to be there. To try and line up on the grid then here for the Dutch Grand Prix. Purple score on the lineup, love that. And let's see if we can try and get a good start then in this race. Waiting on those 5 red lights here at our home event, and it is going to be 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go. And yeah, despite the change of camera angle, still not getting particularly great starts as we head down in towards the first corner. We'll have a look up the inside though of Nicholas Latifi there, down through turn 1. Don't want to get wedged out on the inside curbing on the exit, but of course you just feel so much more closed in with the cockpit cam there, as we're trying to look high around the outside of a couple of other cars down through the hairpin there. I just saw Latifi try and swing across me on the exit, and now we're going to be drag racing the Williams as we head up the hill in towards turn 7. Just making sure we make that move work nice and early on in this race. As now we've got Sebastian Vettel and Lance Stroll just in front. Perhaps if I do more of these, I'm going to try and completely disable out the HUD there, as of course this Red Bull car should be much quicker than the Aston Martin just in front of me. Is trying to have a look around the outside of Seb, try and build some temperature into the tyres as well as Sebastian Vettel just tries to cut off my nose there. We're going to have a look up the inside down in towards the final sector there as well. There's contact between Kevin Magnussen and Alex Albon just a little way up, and we'll say thank you very much there. A bit of Constantina in, and we will get around the outside of Lance Stroll as well. He's going to try and get back around the outside of myself through the next corner. We'll just make sure we close off any opportunity there. As the end of lap 1 then, Sainz does lead the way. Looks like Mercedes have had a nightmare start there, down into 4th and 5th as Mick Schumacher and Kevin Magnussen side by side in towards the first corner. K-Mag actually got a set of hard compound tyres, so I'm not too sure what the plan was down at Haas, but Mick Schumacher gets around the outside of his teammate, will try and follow him by, and now up into P16 then of the Grand Prix there early on. Just can we try and get a run on Mick Schumacher as we head up the hill? Of course, going to have to try and manage battery as well around this circuit. Up the inside of Mick will go, and again another forceful move, but up into P15 on just lap 2. Oh, we got yellow flags out. Someone's got issues on just second lap of this race. It's Valtteri Bottas. So not too sure what's happened to the Finn there, but Bottas around down in the final sector. And that'll be us up into P14 then. Let's have a look, see what the top end speed of this Red Bull's like as we head out the final corner. Of course, Albon could even match Red Bull anywhere, and that was in sector 1 last weekend in Belgium. Alex Albon going very defensive though, back down in towards the first corner. Can we have a look around the outside of the Williams? We haven't got much battery left at our disposal there, but we do go clean around the outside of the young Thai driver. And now up into P13 out of the Grand Prix. Can we try and make a move work on Yuki Tsunoda? Not quite going to be able to put the power down the exit, and we do need to save some battery. There are, of course, some other perks to driving in cockpit cam, most notably, I think, for me, the fact, of course, you've got the live delta there as Charles Leclerc now goes fastest in this race. Can we get a run on the Alpha Tauri backing towards someone there? Tsunoda's going to go defensive like Albon did just 1 lap prior. And Yuki Tsunoda having none of it that time around there. Tiny bit of contact between the pair of us as we went through the first corner. Hopefully that front wing damage isn't going to cost me too much here as we have a look around the outside of Yuki through turn 3. But we will have to swap back in now behind him through sector 2. That might give us a little bit of pain. Coming to the end though of lap 4 here. I think the front wing is certainly costing us a little bit of time, so we are actually going to box at the end of this one then, a lot earlier than you'd originally think here at Zandvoort. I just got the car slowed down there and completely forgot we had the first box. We are obviously going to change that front wing. I almost got confused for just a second, but hoping we can try and undercut a lot of these other cars there. Of course, we have lost a bit of time because of that, but yeah, now we just got to get our head down. 7.6 seconds is actually not too shabby on F1 at 22 there as we head back down the pit lane. This will give us a good chance to try and settle down into a rhythm. Team believe we're boxing again, but that is definitely not the case. There is out of the pits we go, incredibly narrow on pit exit. Of course, these Formula 1 cars are just so big as well that it certainly does us no favours, but cold tyres, got to try and get them up to temperature. Let's keep pushing. And there we go. Purple sector 2 and purple sector 3. Now we have got some clear air. We are by far and away the fastest car on track. Let's try and get a couple of purple laps in. Just make sure, even if we just re-emerge around Tsunoda, we're going to have quicker rubber to the checkered flag, but it is going to be very, very destroyed rubber by sort of lap 16, lap 17. As again then finding even more time as we head out of the final corner. Purple sector 1, purple sector 2. That's going to be a 13-0 as purple through all 3 sectors. 30 seconds still behind Sergio Perez, who is right there with those Ferraris, but looks like Mercedes just don't have race pace on Sunday. It's very, very strange for them. Often it's been the story the other way round. So there we go, first cars into the pit lane then. Only Alex Albon and Zhou Guanyu currently in the stops. I think we were ahead of both of them though, of course, before we went into the pits. We've certainly taken a fair chunk of time out of a lot of other cars there. It was all very, very late on the brakes into turn 1, but back up then ahead of those two. So we are still roughly battling for good points here, but yeah, again, these tyres, we are taking a lot out of them to try and get the car up the order. Oh, there we go. Lap 8, a lot more cars into the pit lane. Let's see Who else we can try and jump then? Of course, Bottas had those issues early on. We got Latifi, we got one of the Aston Martins. I think that might be... Oh, that's Pierre Gasly then, heading back out of the pit lane here. So we're just going to get around the other AlphaTauri. So we should be ahead of Yuki Tsunoda then, if I'm not mistaken. Lando Norris a couple of seconds up the road, but of course he's on cold tyres. And then Fernando Alonso did very, very well on Saturday in his Alpine. I think he was sort of sat in no man's land as best of the midfield. And he's only 3 seconds away. So of course, half distance now in this race. Even more cars into the pit lane. So we're just getting more and more confident with where the car is underneath us then. Not quite within the DRS range of Lando Norris, but surely they're going to be out ahead of a big, big gap. There is Yuki Tsunoda. I think we are now up towards... Yeah, we're now inside the points then of this Grand Prix. We have still got both those Haas cars that need to box. So that is very reassuring then. At this stage of the day, we've even got round Ricciardo and Pierre Gasly, so we are now up into what? I think a net P8. We could easily still get Lando and Fernando. Lovely little rhyming there, but yeah, let's just keep pushing, keep our head down, and try and make sure we keep these tyres in good nick as well. Right, we're much, much closer to Lando Norris this time around as we head out of the final corner. Just going to have to take a lot of ERS though. Make sure we try and get a run on the McLaren. And look at this, we are going to have to basically drain the battery here. Lando Norris going to try and go defensive. We'll squeeze to the inside, though, of the Brit. And just about make it work there through turn 1. Back into P8 then of the Grand Prix. We've still got one of those Haas cars out, clogging up the front runners. So maybe this will give us a chance to get a bit closer. As now Hamilton has re-emerged just ahead of Fernando Alonso. The gap down to 2 seconds, though, between myself and the Spaniard. Mick Schumacher and George Russell into the pit lane. Could Fernando get the jump on George there as he heads out of the pit lane? It is going to be very, very close there. And look at that, Fernando Alonso might just have done it. George Russell is surely going to be on the offensive, though, as he's on fresh, soft compound tyres there versus Fernando's getting worn mediums. George Russell now, the man just in front of me, was not expecting that, but fair play to Fernando Alonso. As of course Mick Schumacher holding that whole group up has really bunched the top, 8 cars up? A whole lot more. Here we go then, waiting in the wings behind George Russell there. Luckily he's given me the DRS. So hopefully we can get a bit closer to Fernando Alonso as well, as George Russell has to go to the left-hand side of Alonso, back down in towards turn 1. Surely Alonso is not going to make this easy for him. Second weekend in a row, he's been wheel-to-wheel with a Mercedes, and this time Alonso backs out of it. Will now move back down into P6. Oh, we just clipped the inside curve there, and that almost sent the back end right around as we try it again on the exit of the corner for good measure. But now we kind of need George Russell just to pull away from Fernando a little bit and hopefully leave him without the DRS to defend himself. Right, let's see what we can do then. All over the back of El Plan, out through the final couple of corners there. Again, we're going to have to drain the battery. But I want someone wily old fox there. But again, oh, look at this, squeezes me right to the pit wall there very, very early on. Michael Schumacher style there through turn 1. But we will again hold firm, get the car slotted just in front of the other car there. And now up into P6 of the race. George Russell only a second in front. And these tyres are not in great nick. Let's have a look there, already nearly at 60% wear, so it is going to be quite a tall order just to get them through to the flag. I think George Russell, we're just going to have to accept we're not going to be able to battle him, and now we've got to try and keep Fernando Alonso at bay. 2 laps to go then of the Dutch Grand Prix here, and you can now see, especially when we get the car slowed down into turn 1, just how much wear is on these front tyres there. As you can just see how much of the tread has been taken away. But Fernando Alonso now has started to close back in once more, and little mistakes like that are certainly not going to do us any favours, as Alonso there just flashes up red on the proximity arrows for just a moment. Luckily we have still got that luxury in cockpit cam. Of course it does just take out your depth perception, oh sorry, it increases your depth perception, but yeah, just makes trying to work out where other cars are a little bit more difficult, of course, especially where you just aren't used to it. And of course, where you, I mean, I'm definitely going to try and play this game more in VR once I get that all set up. As well, you can just see Alonso again trying to have a look there. We'll have a look just behind us, and you can see he has dropped back slightly off the corner. But look at the tyres, 78% on those fronts. We are going to, well, I think we are now officially into puncture territory in this Grand Prix. We could get a puncture late on in the Dutch Grand Prix here. Looks like Hamilton and George Russell have actually swapped places. as I think they were trying to get around Carlos Sainz there in a P3, who seemed to be struggling. But one more lap to go then, here from the Dutch Grand Prix in Zandvoort, and Alonso can't get close enough. Back down towards turn 1 there. Of course, we've seen just how strong this Red Bull is down the straight so often in real life 2022. As that tyre's gone to 100. Have we got a puncture on the front left? I think we might well have done, as I've accidentally put Fernando Alonso in the shadow realm there. I've got no idea what's happened to that front left tyre. We have got a puncture on the front left. Oh, it's all gone wrong late on in the day. I've got no idea why it hasn't completely delaminated yet, unless I've accidentally... Have I forgot to put damage on and therefore made that front wing change earlier on in this race completely obsolete? No, it's definitely gone entirely there, as I'm so sorry to Fernando Alonso. Just got a big wobble there as we're trying to do our best Hamilton from 2020 impersonation. Alonso is going to get back past me there, and I cannot believe this is probably the second puncture I think I've had on F1 22, and we've got it in cockpit cameras. We're just going to sail across the gravel down in the stadium. They're not what the home fans want to see, but can we try and just hang on for a point or two in the Dutch Grand Prix there? Daniel Ricciardo gets around me. Esteban Ocon is going to try and get around me there. We might be drag racing with the Alpine at the final corner. There is contact between myself and Ocon, and he just hangs on at the line.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Many doubted whether they could pull off the win here in Zandvoort, but they've done so in spectacular style. So Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection. A shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari, do it again. So then, Natalie Pinkham, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Often, my go-to would be a driver who's managed to pull off an especially impressive feat during the race. However, in this instance, I was more impressed by Max Verstappen's solid, clean driving throughout the event.
Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Well, there we are then, the end of the Dutch Grand Prix, and Charles Leclerc does walk away with the race victory and takes a big chunk of points out of Max Verstappen's championship lead there. But I mean, we started last, we lost the front wing early on, we got a puncture late on in the day, and we still were able to score points in the Red Bull. I think we can probably still call that race a success there. Like I said, let me know your thoughts and feelings on the cockpit cam down below as well. To be honest, I might start using it in a few more of these Grand Prix challenges. I'm probably not going to use it in career mode just yet, but it has been quite fun as a bit of an experiment there. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like and get yourself subscribed, and we will return very soon with more F1 22 content. Imperium experiences are back and better than ever. This time they are offering you the chance to win a weekend of a lifetime at the 2022 season finale in Abu Dhabi. This includes a 4-night accommodation at a 5-star hotel and travel to and from the circuit included every day. All you need to do is click the link down in my description and enter the competition on their website. But hurry, with only 1,500 tickets available and the competition closing on the 14th of September, you definitely don't want to miss out on this. So click the link down in the description below, and a massive thank you to Imperium for sponsoring this video. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.